Hello. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome in. Let me get myself found here. So today's event is back to school, but it's kind of with a twist, okay? So the idea is that, when you're going back to school, teachers are teaching lessons, and then there's those who are the students. So I figured that it would be fun for our presenters to be the teachers and for us followers, viewers, to be the students. So the task was to teach your favorite technique. Okay? Hey, Miss Kimberly. It's okay, dear. I hope you get to feeling better. So today is all about us teaching different techniques. Right before me was Miss Jamie. She was teaching how to make waterfalls, which I still have yet to 100% master. So that was super cool. Hello there, Miss Deborah. Welcome in. Hello. Thank you so much for being here. Hi, Miss Krista. Welcome, everyone. So if I had to pick what my favorite thing to do with paper is I would have to say that it is to create layers. So we're going to play with some chipboard and some other things, and we're going to create layers. I love doing that especially on playing cards to make ATC cards. But today we're gonna switch it up because I have some chipboard pieces and I figured these would make some pretty neat frames. So let's get started. Now these chipboard pieces that I have, they're pre-cut pieces, but you could totally use like the picture slides, or you could cut something similar. Okay. I do have my box of Tim Holtz people, and I think we'll probably use some of these. Are the strips, but I cut them down to have them already ready, so kind of to find an image that's gonna go on here. So we're gonna use some of those. Alright, if you have old photographs, you can use that as well. And we're going to use some coloring and stenciling, okay? So let me get my modeling paste out. And for those who don't know what modeling paste is, it just helps to give texture. If you don't have modeling paste, hey there, Miss Jamie. I was saying that I'm so glad that you tackled waterfalls because I have yet to master those. I can definitely figure out pools, but I'm still kind of like, I don't know why the push one messes me up. So I will probably have to re-watch. So I'll probably have to re-watch yours just to get some pieces of paper out and figure out what I'm doing. Alright, so we can put colors, paints on this however we want. I am going to just get a little piece of parchment out, and I'm just gonna go black on these, okay? I'm just gonna put some black paint on them just to give me a base, okay? And let's see, what brush do I have left in here, because well, pretty much all my brushes are still in the kitchen from where I washed them, and I keep forgetting to bring them back to my room. Please tell me I'm not the only one that does that. So now the question is if I am going to find a brush. Yeah, I can use this one. Hey, Miss Barbara. Hi, Miss Chandra. Yes, happy Wednesday. Happy hump day to everybody. Welcome, welcome. Alright, so let us put a dab of paint. And like I said, I'm doing black. You could do brown. You could ink instead of painting. I mean, it's completely up to you. This is chipboard, so obviously chipboard would go, if you did, if you cut these out of cardstock, out of a thick cardstock, obviously if it has color to it already, you don't have to paint this. This is just because I don't want to have that grayish color. Yeah, and my biggest problem is, like, I'll get it, but then because I don't do them often enough, then it kind of like stumps me. It's kind of like I was telling my husband. It's like, you know, you with exercises and stuff, like, yeah, it's gonna be hard, but you gotta like keep on doing it, you know, so that your body gets, you know, that muscle memory. And it's the same thing with doing stuff like that. You know, if you do them often enough, then it's like muscle memory. Now obviously with this being an acrylic paint, there is a higher level of I did, Miss Chandra, and I replied. I did see it, and I ended up sending you a message back, dear. Hopefully you get my answer, because I did reply to you, sweetie. So again, if you end up cutting these out of if you end up cutting a shape similar to this, or whatever shape you decide you end up using, and you're using actual like scrapbook or cardstock that's already got color to it, you don't have to paint it, which will be good to avoid the folding. Hey, Miss Wendy, how are you doing, dear? I heard your message, and I replied to it. I don't know if you saw that, sweetie, but I'll check my messages once I'm off to see. Yeah, I've been a bit of a little busy bee today. So today's event, like I said, was back to school, and it was a bit of a twist because, you know, when you think back to school, you think students and teachers. So my thoughts was the presenters will be the teachers, and we're going to like teach you what would be our favorite technique or thing to craft, because, you know, we are teaching y'all. No, 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 no. No, that's fine. Just I just wanted to make sure that you saw that I did reply to you, and I'll check once I get off, sweetie. Okay? You don't have to say anything here. I just wanted to make sure that you saw that I did answer you. That's all. Because I know I many times miss messages, and I'll have people that be like, did you see my message? Nope, I'm sorry, I gotta go find it. So, yeah. Y'all, Miss Wendy's really been into using that sewing machine. I would bet you that if she had to pick a favorite technique right now, it's probably sewing something. It seems like she's having a lot of fun with that. So if you had to pick a technique, you know, your favorite thing to craft, what would you pick? I'm kind of curious. Like I said, for me, it would have to be, you know, the mixed media layering, you know, type, which is what we're going to do, because we're going to use paste, and we're going to bring in some metal, all the things that this crazy girl here in front of y'all likes to play with. So, if you had to pick, what would be your favorite thing to do? And I know that with time, things, you know, change, and that is totally fine. But like right now, if you had to pick, what would be the thing that you would like, that you would say is the thing you enjoy doing the most, and that would have been what you picked to teach? You know, every time we come on here and we craft, we are teaching. You know, we are sharing our passion, our talent, our knowledge, and, you know, I want everybody to feel that acknowledgement that you have a lot to share. And that was one of the reasons why, like, I didn't want back to school, like, I didn't want it to be, you know, like the typical teacher pencil crayon. Like, I wanted it to be different, like, you know what I mean? Because you may not teach in an educational quote-unquote setting, but you're still teaching, because you're still imparting your talent and your knowledge. And for that, I'm very, very grateful. And doing clay, yes. I thought of that. Like, I love making things, taking my clay and putting it in molds and then adding it, because it's so cool and it adds like 3D dimension to our journal covers and stuff. I thought about doing like maybe some of that, but it's all good. Did I get all the sides? No, I did not get all the sides. But yeah, there's a lot of, you know, and you know, as a creative person, we're constantly evolving too, right? Like, we are constantly learning things. Like Miss Jamie was showing her idea book, right? And things that she learns and that she wants to try, or that she's tried and tweaked, and she has idea books where she keeps everything down. Now, don't get me wrong, the first one she did, like she said, that's massive. Don't don't do something that big, because that might then become maybe overwhelming, and you might not want to open it. At least I know, like, for me, with my ADHD, I would see that as overwhelming, and I wouldn't want to work with it. So, like, smaller bites. Yes, of course. So, like, smaller bites work better. And I've done idea books, and I don't know where they are. So I think I'm going to start another one, Miss Jamie. Thank you for the inspiration. I honestly think I'm going to start either it'll be a smash book or, like she said, take a Dollar Tree notebook, or like nowadays you can get because all the back to school stuff is happening, so you can get like the composition notebooks at really cheap. So yeah, I don't use it because it's too big. Yeah, that's kind of what I would be afraid of, is with it something being so big I wouldn't use it. So I like the idea of the smaller one. I think I'm going to try something on the smaller scale and do one again. Because yeah, that way, like when I was making all my measurements for like my coffin journal and stuff like that, I can have that all jotted down in, I'm just going to turn this around, in the same you know, in one place. So thank you. Thank you for that inspiration. I do want to try that again. Alright, now light modeling paste is what I'm going to add on top of this, and I'm going to use a stencil. And there's all kinds of stencils, you know, there's plastic stencils, there's brass stencils. You know, it really is going to depend on what maybe you're trying to convey. And I don't know, that might be too big. Let me see if I have something that is a little smaller. And if I don't have anything in this one that's small enough, let's see what we have over here. So these are plastic stencils, just in case somebody was wondering. Some of them I have gotten from Temu, Amazon, whatnot. I mean, like all over the place. And so what I'm looking for, and I don't have, doesn't seem like I have one that's small enough. No, I don't like that. I need to, you know what, I need to get one that's like small letters. I don't have that. I have big letters, but I don't have small letters. So we're going to use this one. No, girl, you work. I'm using updated calendar for a travel one right now. Oh, that's smart. Well, there's my laundry. It's done. We'll do one that's like letters. Okay. So let's actually do this one first. And I'm gonna use like the numbers and letters part on here. It doesn't have to be perfect. And this, like I said, this is very lightweight, and you can, if you have a palette knife, that would work the best. I do not know where, actually I do know where my palette knives are. It's called, they are still in the sink. So I'm going to use the silicone. I'll use the silicone. And I found this one at the Dollar Tree one time, and it's got like 2 different ends. This is the one that most people are used to seeing. These are for makeup. But I found one that had this other side too, so that'll work. And so I'm just gonna stir it just a little bit before I spread it. And because this is the lightweight, it will dry faster than, and that totally moved on me. And I didn't pay attention. So now we're gonna roll with it. We're gonna have half of it's gonna have stars. The printer's being so darn slow. I'm printing off my papers for the retreat, and it's being so slow today. I don't know what's going on. Okay, there we go. There we go. Okay. And I'm just gonna lift this up. Alright, and then this can be wiped off. It'll come off easily with a little bit of soap and water, so I'm not worried about that. I'm gonna set that to the side. I'm gonna grab another piece of parchment and we'll do the next one. And you can totally tape the stuff down so it doesn't move on you. That would be the smart thing to do. Of course, I'm not being that smart right now, but I'm letting you guys know what you can do so stuff doesn't move on you. You don't end up like I ended up there with. Plus, that way you're less likely to have stuff that is going to end up like underneath the stencil, which that's not good, because then you're gonna end up with not a clean you know, it's not gonna look clean on your project. Okay, lift this one up, wipe off the excess. See if I can get any other stuff. Nah, not much of it. One of the things that you can use, but it will take a while to dry, is spackle. So like if you don't have paste like this, you could use spackle. Oh, thank you, Miss Ramona. I appreciate that. Wait till you see what we do with it. Now we just gotta get this to dry. So normally I let this stuff sit and I just walk away, but obviously we're on live and that's not gonna happen. Hey, Miss Patty! How are you doing, dear? Now remember, these are going to be frames, so even though there's stuff in the middle, it's not going to be there, okay? And the other thing is, the thicker you put on, it will take longer to dry, okay? But this is so cool to play with. It is very cool to play with. Okay, so I'm going to pull this off, mainly so that I can try to clean the edges a little bit. Alright, so obviously I got stuff where I don't want it, so I'm just gonna clean it off. I'm just using one of my craft knives, and that's, you know, just because it's got like a very flat edge. If I had the what's that thing called again, the palette knife, you can do with the palette knife, because you know palette knives have a good straight edge to them. But like it's already dry, like it's coming off semi-hard, so it's not fully dry, but it's getting there. Alright, and then the biggest thing I want to make sure is that I get these circles out. This is actually where I'll put a brad, but I don't want that much material just sitting in there. And yes, I know I could totally be using gloves, but you know what? To me, if I'm not getting messy and dirty, I am not creating art. But again, that is just me, okay? If you don't want to get dirty, that is totally fine. Doesn't mean that your art is any less than mine. It just means you don't like to get dirty like I do. Which is totally fine. Okay? So today's event, I wanted it to be a bit of a twist. So it was back to school, but I told everybody that it needed to be like, okay, not your typical back to school, but where we, the presenters. Oh, hello there, Sub Sandwich. How are you doing? We are over on Facebook. That is why I'm talking with people and you don't see them, because you're over on YouTube. That's why. But thank you so much for joining. I really do appreciate you. So yeah, so these are just pieces of chipboard, and I wanted to teach you guys one of my favorite things, which is to layer. And I love to layer with multiple different things. Some of it being paste, right? Because it gives us that three-dimensional layer. And right now I am just going to clean this off, like I said, just so that I can not have all this extra on the side, and it'll be a clean piece that I can add to a journal or something. Hey, Miss Victoria, thank you. I'm so glad that you do like them. This is just a piece of chipboard that you could easily, and you could do this with any shape of frame that you have. You could pick to do them out of cardstock, out of a heavy cardstock. It doesn't have to be chipboard. This is just what I had, and I just think that they are going to be very cool once we're done. So cleaning up the middle, because again, You know, we're going to put our pictures in here. Of course, my pleasure, dear. I will check my messages once I am off, and I will answer you back, dear. Yeah, why is it printed fine and now it's being crazy. I don't know what's up with my printer. It has its moments. Okay. So, now what can we do with this part? Oh my goodness, what can you not do? So this is where if you have mica sprays, okay, you could totally bring mica sprays in here and it would attach to all of the white of our paste and give you different kinds of dimension. The other thing, you could come in with inks, okay? I am going to use one of my favorite things, which is waxes. And again, you know, you are more than welcome to use gloves for this part. I don't use them. I probably should, but I don't. I know, I'm bad about that. And I do have that one. So I have two different ones. We're gonna use two different tones. And what I'm hoping with these metallic waxes is for it to give me, again, to clean the heads of my printer, but it is not working. So how are you cleaning the heads? I meant to ask you about that. How are you cleaning the heads of... You can use Rub and Buff for this. If you have Rub and Buff, it works perfect as well. And then you're just gonna go on top to get the top of it. I know that my husband had to get like a kit from Amazon to clean the heads, and that worked great. And so so I have two printers, and when my main one failed me is when I signed up for the Epson, what's it called, like the leasing program that they have, for a second one, because I love my Epson. And then because school was starting, and now he was, and then, you know, he was able to get them clean and work it out, and so it works perfectly now. So he had to like physically put a solution through them and clean them because they were like clogged. So I don't know. You know, there's a reason why he's the IT man, because he's the one in charge of doing anything that comes with technology. Because this girl, See, I went a little heavy there, and you can kind of tell. But yeah, that's what he had to do for ours. So look at that. Look at how we made it look like an old piece of metal tin with that. Isn't that super cool? I think that's amazing. That's why I said I love to layer stuff. I think it just like adds so much dimension to stuff. And this one, the one I just used, is from Prima Redesign. It's their Decor Wax Element is the color for this one. You need an IT. That's what Miss Carla says too. She's like, she'll be like, where's IT? She'll be like, I need a Gary. because yeah, like I tried everything I know. I did everything on in the app and everything, and it still wasn't working. And I was getting super frustrated because the colors would print, but not the black. And there, well, ours is the Eco Tank, so we changed out. There's like a dispense thing. Your husband's your IT guy. That's awesome. Yeah, we all need one of those because with all this technology, like, oh my gosh, there's just way too much. Way too much to try to figure out. Like whenever my phone's on the fritz. Yeah. Okay. So now this one, he's your IT guy, see? And yeah, but like I said, I'm not sure. Is yours, I know you said HP, is it a now I'm using metal colors. You know what? Let me pull out. Let's do this one like half and half. Let me show you what I mean. Your daughter is your IT person. I said we all need one. They come in all shapes and forms, but we all need one because there's too much going on with all this technology. We all have to have one in some form or fashion. So, but yeah, I tried everything like through the app and everything, and it didn't work. But I don't know if yours is the tank type or if it's with the little printer, the inks. It is an Eco Tank. Have you changed out the ink dispenser? There's a piece in the back that takes all the extra ink that's not used, and it holds it, and if that thing is full, it's not gonna print right, because we had to do that. This last go was the ink we used was not good, and that's why I had to like fully like clean out the heads and all that stuff. But that was, so this one's a little creamier. This is more like a Rub and Buff. It's also from Prima. It's amethyst, so it's purpley. I am Miss Kimberly was dealing with a migraine, which I definitely understand, so I hopped on, and I did not send out telegrams or anything. It has a line. It's just one line, and it is a newer one. That still sounds like there's something going on with one of the heads. And have you called HP about it? Because they might be able to direct you as to what needs to be done. Because you know, nowadays they can remote into all kinds of things. I mean, heck, my husband remotes into my nephew's computer all the way out in Costa Rica, so the technology is there for that. So they could, to try to diagnose it and see what's going on. Because I had that problem too with the lines. And that was where we had to clean, like fully clean the head out. Which was quite interesting. Alright, so This one is the one that I did half metal, half bronze, half amethyst. Yes, give them a call, see if they can help you, because that's very frustrating, especially when it's a newer printer. So and especially for us paper crafters, like, we have to have a good working printer. Okay, so let's see what we got here. I have the extra warranty. Oh, well, that's good. That is actually really good. Alright, so this is actually printed. So, I mean, we could always use her if we wanted to. I think that would look really cute cut down. Her with her big old hat right there. And then the question is, like this one has color to it, right? I don't think the color would look good. So maybe more of a black and white one. Let's see. Kind of like that one right there. And with her, with this one, let's see. With her, with the little bit of color on her cheeks, I like how it looks with the other ones. I think I'm gonna do that. That one. And these are just a Tim Holtz, like the picture strips, and there's like 2 or 3 of them. I just cut them down, and I have them with my other paper dolls in a box that is underneath my desk for me to grab whenever I need them. Okay. The other way, if you didn't want to put something in the back like that, you could, an example, you could go forward with it. Maybe she's too big. Give me a person. So another way to layer is, you know, putting it up front. Okay. You could have where you have the picture up front instead of having the picture in the background. So that's another way of layering as well. It all depends on, you know, the project that you're working on and what you would, you know, what you want to accomplish or do, all the things. So some of these I feel at times are too big, and then other times I feel they're too small. Doesn't anybody else have that issue? If you ever work with the Tim Holtz people, I don't know. Not everybody likes that, and that's totally fine. You don't, you know, it's not everybody's cup of tea. I mean, we could put them like that. You do? You like to use them? think it's neat. It's no different than using a paper doll, you know? Because, I mean, if you don't have something like this, if you want to grab a magazine, and if you cut, you know, ladies or anybody out of like a magazine, that works as well. And you can use them as a paper doll. So I kind of like the idea of having the gentleman kind of like sitting like that. Because it looks like they're sitting on the edge. So I'm going to actually add mine on the outside to this project. Oh my gosh. Miss Carla, I turned my glue gun on earlier, my heat tool, to check the whole, you know, light when you were asking about it, because I couldn't remember. And it was still on. I'm like, what am I smelling? I'm like, it smells like glue. And I put glue on the top and not on his legs. So we need to remedy that. Because I actually need it on the legs, not so much the body. Well, hopefully you're able to get your printer fixed, my dear. Or figure out like what's up with it so you can get it fixed, because like I said, I know how much we as paper crafters need our printers. So have that one there. Yeah, I know he's not all the way down, and I'm not gonna do them, but I am gonna do her on the background. But I'm gonna trim her down because she is a little too big. That is your plan for tomorrow? I know Miss Carla already told me she's printed the kit out. I know Miss Cynthia was asking if y'all girls liked the kit, and I was like, I bet you they do. Awesome. I know. I completely understand feeling lost without it. That's the whole reason why I ended up getting myself the one that I'm on the plan with, while Gare was able to fix the other one, because I have to have a printer. Especially back when this happened, because it was right before the school year. and so I had to have and I will be teaching again this upcoming year. Yeah, because one of the biggest things is getting the stuff fussy cutted. I know, that's why I'm printing mine off, because I want to go ahead and try to get some of my stuff fussy cutted, because I'm a slow fussy cutter. So now obviously this needs to dry. Okay, and I put glue, way too much glue on my stuff all the time. Okay, now like I said, I don't know what's up with my printer right now, because yesterday, spitting it out with no problem, I decided to tell it to print before I come live, and then it wants to act a fool. Alright, so I want some texture in the background, so I am going to add some of this doily to it. And this is just a paper doily. Nothing fancy. We ain't doing nothing fancy. We are just looking at what we got, pulling stuff. You can use images in the background. I mean, again, this is, you can do a lot of stuff with it, right? And I am pushing it down to actually grab hold of the guy, especially the one that is over here just like hanging, so that he has actually something to hold on to. Thank you, Miss Chandra. I appreciate it. I said, I hopefully the whole idea is to inspire y'all to play with some of the stuff that we like to play with. So see, that's there in the background. So we could do a cluster here with the lace, and we can put that down here and add a button to it as well, or we could do it out of the black one, because I grabbed the black as well. This is just using up bits and pieces of what I have. That's something else I love to do, which is just taking scraps and turning them into something. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. And since this is on, I'm gonna take advantage and use it utilize it. Did you cool down that fast? Yeah, you did. You did. Oh, thank you so much, you guys. I really appreciate it. I am so glad that I have the opportunity, and I'm so honored that I have the opportunity to inspire you to create. That is the biggest thing, which is why I get it. And I was talking with Miss Carla about, you know, here I thought I wasn't going to be teaching again. And she's like, but you love to teach. I was like, yes, I do. I do. No matter what it is, I love to teach because I want to inspire. I want to inspire others, whether it's inspiring the next generation, you know, to tackle the world, or to inspire you to create. And all I'm doing is putting a daub and folding and then coming on top. So I'm kind of making a little bit of like a rosette, okay? And if you like, you know, needle and thread, you could totally do this with a needle and thread. It would be maybe a little bit less bulky than with the hot glue, but it'll be perfectly fine. And then if I do it down here, I can use a brad, or if I do it, yeah, I think I'm gonna do that, because if I do it down there, I can use a brad. So let me grab a brad. And now I can do now I can do both. Alright, so this brad has a pearl on it, which I think will be perfect. And because I did use hot glue, I'm just going to, if you have a pokey tool, you could use a pokey tool just to get through the layers of glue. Just enough so that you can get your brad through. But be careful whatever you do, okay? Please. And then see how these already had the holes? I'm going to take advantage that there was already a hole there, pre-made, so I don't have to make it. And I'm just going to use my brad. And look at that. Look how pretty that is. Isn't that cute? Could you imagine that, like, either on a page or on the front of your journal? I think that looks so cool. I think it looks really, really cool. So, hopefully, this has inspired you to play. There's still so much more that you could, like, you could totally add some color back here. So, like, if I wanted to add, obviously not this page because this is Halloween, but if I wanted to add blue, you could put a piece of blue in the background and it would help it pop, right? And you would still have all of the other accents there. Again, you could do some lace on this, or cheesecloth, something of that nature. But these are super cute. You can attach them with brads, give them more of that, you know, metal steampunk type vibe, especially this one that's got like a lot of like metalish colors. This one's a little more delicate with the amethyst and with the lace and everything, but I still think it came out super cute. So hopefully this has inspired you to play and give different things a try. Textured paste, so this is light modeling paste. You can use waxes or rub and buffs, and you can find them, as you can see, in all kinds of colors, and just play with what you've got. I mean, or if you want to pick up something new and give it a whirl, you know, try it. It might be something you might have a lot of fun with. So thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me and all of the presenters today. If you did miss anybody, go back and see what they were teaching today. We had some really cool techniques that were taught, and I thank you, every single one of you, for always being so supportive of me and the crafters that participate in the events that I host, and also of like upcoming retreats that I'm hosting. You guys are just super supportive, and I love every single one of you, and I'm so appreciative. So thank you again so very much for everything. I will check my messages and see what everybody has been saying. But thank you again, and I hope to see everybody very, very, very soon. And have a wonderful, blessed